This is exactly what I'm saying. Like, I totally forgot that Roberto Martinez is a terrible international manager, and I don't know why I forgot that. It was really a bad decision out of me to forget about that.
Paisans and everyone across the globe, welcome back. Welcome back to World Cup Culture, aka Calcio Culture, with your World Cup everything coverage. I am your host today, Logs. I'm here with my co-host, Vos, and we have officially finished a full round of games. We are about 75% of the way through the second set of group stage games here in the World Cup, Canada, USA, Mexico style. And it's been an absolutely phenomenal product out on the pitch. Vos, how are you, man?
I love the World Cup because I think like the what's fun about the group stages, you see some teams that surprise you. The good teams that you expect to be good, you don't really know who they are yet, and I don't know. It makes it really interesting. Like some games really do not go the way you expect them. You get some breakout players. It's just a fun. I think it's just as good as the knockout. Like it's really fun. Some of the games you see, and you get some good Cinderella stories as we've obviously seen so far.
Well, you get games that you certainly would never ever tune in for,
Yeah,
other than on the world stage like this.
100%.
And then you also get effort out of players and out of managers and teams in general that you wouldn't get in another scenario than at the World Cup. And I think that, to your point, there's never a surefire thing in this tournament.
Yeah, 100%.
Never a group that's 100% going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It can go any way, shape, or form. One bad result completely flips the whole group. And we've seen a couple of those instances so far.
Yeah. And I had somebody I was talking to, like, with the new expanded format, there's some teams in here that, like, they don't really have a chance of winning the tournament, but, like, it still ends up being a good game most of the time. Like, we've had very few, like, destructions of bad teams for the most part.
For the most part. I think the only one that you can really point to is Germany 7-1 against Curacao.
And they didn't even, I don't even think Germany were, like, that good. Curacao just kind of, like, fell apart. And then bounced back against Ecuador. They had a great second game that
they came back, and their goalie, I think, set the record for most saves in a game.
And now all of a sudden they're playing Ivory Coast. If they win that game, they're through. Like,
insanity.
Pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy. I would also point
100%.
to Spain. I would say Spain beating Saudi Arabia yesterday,
yeah.
We are recording June 22nd. I think that was a pretty good beatdown. They didn't really try in that second half.
Yeah. After a first Spain game where they weren't good against Cabo Verde and drew.
Exactly. So it really is anyone's game on any given day. Really hard to bet right now. As a gambling man, really hard to bet. We won't jinx ourselves here, but it was a fun day for some of us involved. But in any case, Paisans and global fans, quick summary of where we stand today. Teams that have officially qualified for the knockout rounds. There have been 6 of them. Mexico, USA, 2 host nations through on 6 points each. We've got Germany already qualified as well and already won their group with 6 points. 3 teams now that are well on their way to the next round, not necessarily locking up the groups, but we do have France and Norway from Group I on their way through the knockout stages. And last but certainly not least, the reigning champs, Argentina, is through to the next round, has not officially locked up their group, but they do look like they will take care of business in their third game. We do unfortunately have 3 teams knocked out. Biggest disappointment potentially of the tournament so far.
Sure.
Turkey out of the tournament after 2 losses to start their campaign to Paraguay and Australia. Haiti is also out of the tournament. Can't really say I'm surprised there, but thanks for showing up, Haiti. And unfortunately, after the result that just ended right now, Senegal no longer going through to the next round. That one's a pretty big disappointment. Senegal being one of the powerhouses out of the AFCON nations.
I mean, that's
a tough one to see. They had a tough group, though. They had a tough group.
It's just like, I don't know. You got to win games. You also got to, I think with Turkey being the best example of that, it isn't just star power. Like you need to have a plan. Like Turkey was obviously better than some of the teams they played. And I mean, we'll talk about it in a little bit when we go through maybe disappointments, but just like talent gets you far. Yes. But like you got to have a plan. And the US, I think, is on like the flip side of that. We finally have a plan and some decent players, and you see how things are going.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm going to fact check us at some point. I'm not sure that Senegal's out, though. I think if they beat Iraq, they're on 3. It would depend on definitely not destiny, not in their hands. But if they go 3 on 3 points,
true.
I think
potentially on 3. I think it's
potentially, but still a disappointment with 2 losses in that group. Unfortunately, France and Norway, we'll talk about in a second, powerhouses looking like it right now. And so a tough group. In any case, couple of big storylines, not necessarily results, but storylines that have now come out of the first couple of games in the group stage here. Lionel Messi, all-time leading scorer in World Cup games. 18 goals, folks?
God, I don't know.
18 after his brace today.
I should have wrote this down. I didn't think about it.
18
Yeah,
goals
he's
after his
definitely
brace today, passing Miroslav Klose. Miroslav, fan of the pod, friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Messi all-time, top of the table. But Vos, we've got another contender in the mix.
Yeah, I think Mbappe's one behind, which is insane because this is his second World Cup, and he's still like he's gonna beat the record. Like, there's no way that he doesn't set some astronomical record, right? Like, he's probably got
He's
two
got
or three.
it. He's got
two
it.
or three World Cups to go. What helps him is he's been to two World Cups.
He has been. He's played so many games.
Yeah, he's played a ton of games, and realistically, he's going to continue to play a ton of games because France is still pretty young at the core, so they're going to be around. Like, they're going to be good. So I would expect him to just smash that record, and it's pretty ridiculous how the numbers he's put up for France, regardless of like what has happened for when he was at PSG and now at Real Madrid. There's Motts said it last episode. Some people put on the international jersey and they just hit a different level, and Mbappe is 100% in that group.
Well, it certainly helps that he is the president of France and will be able to put himself in there like Ronaldo does for Portugal.
But even
at any point in
then,
time.
I would say the difference, and Ronaldo's actually a good example of this. Like, Ronaldo on Portugal hasn't been great in a really long time. And Mbappe, even in that Senegal game, I think it was Senegal, right, that you guys were at, that game wasn't won, really. And he just won it by himself.
He played like dog shit in the first half. I just want to make that incredibly clear. If you did not watch that game and you just looked at the stat line, he was horrible in the first half. He had 5 really good chances and missed them all. And that was only in the first 45 minutes.
As long as you knock.
Obviously, being the 9 and working your way through in the second half, you're going to get more chances. The second goal was just a golazo. It came out of nowhere. And the first goal was all Michael Olise. So I'm not going to give Mbappe flowers for that first game performance.
But what I will say, like, about Mbappe is, like, as a striker, if you score 2 goals, like, the performance doesn't really matter. Like, you netted 2, you won the game for your team at the end of the day. And, like, even think about World Cup final. World Cup final against Argentina, he was bad for 70+ minutes and then just popped off. And
that's really true.
To added time. And, like, that's all that matters.
As long as you show up at some point in the game. I guess that is true.
Like,
I'll take that point.
You are definitely right. He did not play good in the first half. I agree with that.
And then I think on the other side of the ball here, on the assist side, we've got Isaac of Sweden, of Liverpool. Big summer signing last year, a little bit of a disappointing season. Tied at the top of the assist table with none other than my boy, France's Michael Olise. They're tied on assists. Vos, how many assists do they have?
They both have 3. On Olise, we're probably going to have time to talk about him later. On Isaac, we're not really going to have time to talk about him later, but on Sweden, really quick, they're not bad. I just don't know. They're in a hard group, and I don't really know what their next step is. On Isaac, it's interesting that he's kind of playing off of Georgis, which is just, I don't know, interesting. Graham Potter being interesting. That's kind of
Graham Potter's the Sweden coach?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is interesting. Graham Potter, what a name. But Vos, I'll let you take this one. This is your boy, unfortunately, RIP. What has happened for Canada?
Yeah. This is a Italian Serie A podcast at its core, so we got to bring the sad update that Ismail Kone from SAS was probably going to be looking at a move this summer. That's probably no longer the case. He broke his, I don't know if you call it leg or if you call it shin, but he snapped his shin in half, but like forward.
His tibia and fibula.
Which I've never seen. Like, it went forward and not like backward. Like, it's not that gross. Like, if you can look it up and you won't be like, oh my God, this is disgusting. It's weird looking, but not good. And it was a very freak incident. Like, it didn't even make sense that it broke. He didn't get hit that hard, which is also not good for him. Like, now it's like double down. This guy's really injury prone.
Made of glass.
Yeah, so that's not good.
I mean, if he wasn't wearing a long sock, I think it would have been disgasting.
Yeah,
but
for
thank
sure.
God that he had a really
why
tight sock keeping it.
Yeah. Keeping it together.
Keeping it in place.
Sucking it in.
But as a Serie A pod and as an AC Milan fan at heart, we were linked to getting his release clause at 35 mil. I do not think that's going to happen any longer.
Yeah.
But he was a potential breakout star, no longer, but we do have 2 other names that have really impressed that I don't think a lot of people have heard of before, if at all.
Yeah, one of them, if you've been on Twitter at all, he's all over the place, is Diomande from Ivory Coast, who's been nothing short of spectacular. Has been playing right mid in like a 4-4-2. Really aggressive 1v1 kind of guy. Every time he gets the ball, looks to take people on. He's been just outstanding, honestly. I don't even know what else to say. It's been great.
I mean, he turned I'm sure Mott said this last week, but he turned Nkapie into
Yeah, yeah,
barbecue
yeah.
chicken on multiple occasions.
And then the other guy that I kind of pulled out, who I really liked, apparently Manchester City product, played a little bit in the Premier League, is Enciso from Paraguay. I don't know if Paraguay is going to go through, but I would be surprised if nobody scoops this guy up. Just like, you know who he reminds me of actually is Julian Alvarez. Very
A little
similar in
bit,
how they
a
play.
little bit.
Very similar build, very similar play style, and I've been impressed with him.
And a very good finisher.
Yeah,
I watched him a bit at Brighton. He's now in Strasbourg, but from his days on Brighton, a winger that inverts can also play the 10, but very aggressive and loves to take a shot from 40 yards out, and a lot of the time can convert that way. So definitely another name to watch, and at least get your looks in for at the last game for Paraguay playing Australia. Should be a good matchup actually, because both teams do need a win there to potentially go through. But with that being said, in that same group, the United
yeah,
States of America look fucking awesome, folks.
they
They look
do.
awesome.
They look good. So this is on the back of them winning. So they beat Austria. So first game, like we talked about last week, they beat Paraguay 4-1, and then kind of back it up by beating Australia 2-0 in a little bit like of a different manner. I would say Australia is a really different beast. But they got it done again. They honestly dominated the game. They had almost 70% possession, which I mean for me is still kind of unheard of from a US team. And I think that, and I'll ask you, Logs, but I have my opinion on this. The biggest difference from, let's say, like the last World Cup cycle is the manager at the end of the day.
Mhm.
I don't think the team is that much better in terms of like just pure skill. It's just having like real modern football tactics, right? Like you have an in possession formation, you have an out of possession formation, you kind of have passages of play. It's not just pass the ball to Pulisic at the number 10 and like that's it. And see what happens kind of thing. And then they're relying on multiple players. I like and all around, like I just think it's great so far. I like everything that I'm seeing. Yeah, that's kind of my initial take. I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, a couple thoughts here. I mean, certainly agree that Pochettino has had an immense impact on this team. You can see it in the buildup, I would say
Yeah.
most specifically. Very quick, very direct decision making. No more than 1 or 2 touches, which has been something that we haven't seen from an American team in a very long time. And that's made a huge difference. I think it's instilled a lot of confidence in the players themselves as well, just to be able to play a little tiki taka.
Yeah.
That's kind of everyone's dream, right?
The
But the other
other
thing
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would just say that the other part of this is that I don't want to overlook, because I think it may have been overshadowed by the fact that there is so much pressure on this in particular USA team for having the World Cup at home. But let's not forget that we are in the prime for this core of
Yeah,
players.
for sure.
Pulisic at 27, McKennie 28 or so, Tyler Adams in the same vein, Chris Richards at 25. Obviously, Tim Ream is a
Yeah.
dinosaur, but he's kind of the heart of the team here. Anthony Robinson, I think about 25 years old now. Balogun, 22, 23. So these guys have now had a bunch more years under their belt. And to be honest with you, they've had a long time to get ready
Yeah.
for this tournament.
Yeah.
They
And
they've Pochettino has been in at the helm for a very long time, which is nice to see the consistency. And I think he's got the mindset right. I think again, back to the fact that the manager is a huge part of this. He's got these guys thinking the right way. And I'll pause there because I do have another thought, but I'll swing it back to you before I go there.
yeah, I think so. On the Poch thing, spot on. I think the other thing with the players that you kind of alluded to is like these guys are in their prime right now for the most part, and then I think that the other part of this, these games are no longer the biggest games that they've played in. Like Weston
Right.
McKennie, Christian Pulisic, even Tyler Adams, Chris Richard, Tim Ream, Anthony Robinson, all of those guys have played in massive, massive European games and are used to playing under the spotlight and then playing against really good competition now. And I think 4 years ago, for the most part, I think apart from Pulisic, those guys were just kind of transitioning into like high level European football. And now
Agreed.
that's kind of like their normal. So these teams, they're probably looking at, and to be honest, I didn't even think about this as like we are just way better than you guys. Like even in the Flo Balogun piece of this, he just got to Europe really for like and started playing a lot since the last World Cup cycle. You know what I mean? Like that like he's a new guy now, I would say, in terms of like playing big minutes.
He's a
And I
new
would
guy, but he came up through the Arsenal system.
right.
He blew up at Monaco, big sail to Monaco, another 20-goal season, so in
Yeah,
Ligue 1,
now
so
that's what
he's
I
definitely
mean.
played in
Like,
big
yeah.
games.
So, and I think and when you look at the team as a whole, the best players are realistically like Ream, Richards, Adams, McKennie, obviously Pulisic, and then I would probably put Balogun. I think Balogun's really good. Like, I full
Balogun's
stop.
very
I
good.
think he's really good. Complete striker, can go into wide areas, can go through the middle, big boy. And my point in saying that is the spine of the team is the best part of the team, minus like obviously Pulisic on the wing is also helpful. In most of the time when that's the case, you're gonna be successful. I think where this team could get hurt that I still see is they take a lot of risk. And what ends up happening is Ream and Richards and Adams kind of just get left 3v3 and they're just like kind of chasing guys. And that's kind of what I want to kind of transition to as the next thing that we need to talk about because so far they've played Paraguay and they played Australia, who are not that good. The Paraguay first game, I think, was the worst performance of any team in the tournament so far against the USA. And then I think Australia, I don't want to say they're bad, but I don't think they're good really. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not.
I think
If they get out,
any
if
other
they get
group
out of the group, they're gonna get bounced in the first round. Like 100%. That's how I feel about it.
easily, and I think you put them in most any group, they're in discussion only for 3rd,
Right.
if
And
not
they
solidly in 4th, right? So, like,
kind of
that's
got bailed out. That Turkey was fucking terrible.
right. So I don't wanna hang the one part that I was waiting to say is I'm not going to hang my hat on this USA's team's potential based on these last 2 games.
Right. Right.
Don't get me wrong, I think that our lead up to the tournament was very strong. I thought our game against Senegal, even though it was 2 different lineups and 2 different halves, was pretty good against a decently strong team who's obviously not shown up here. But we did have a great game against was it Germany? Also in a warm up, 2-1. But the Paraguay game was horrendous by Paraguay. There's no other way to go about
Oh
it.
my god,
And
it was
again,
so bad.
like we just went on a tangent about Australia not that strong. Again, we're not even going to see or get tested by Turkey because our second line is going to be in because we're already through, already top of the group. That's going to be an interesting knockout game where that's going to be the first time, presumably, that differently than what you said about them entering these games as we're better than you,
Yeah.
we're
True.
most
Good point.
likely going to see a team that we're going to hit the pitch and be like, they're better than us,
Yeah.
right?
And then
And so
even yeah, finish up. Sorry.
that's just an inflection point where Poch needs to step up even more than he already has. He needs to get that mindset stretched even beyond just this group stage in order for us to have a chance to make it a couple rounds in. I don't
Right.
think anybody, and
Right.
not even Tim Howard. I saw an interview, Tim Howard, Landon Donovan on a pod. Tim Howard came out and said there is no chance the USA wins the World Cup. And he
I
said it
like.
because there in order to do so, the USA would have to play 3 perfect games in a row in order to do that. And then he went back on and said 4. Our first round matchup might actually just be pretty soft. In any case, I think that says a lot about this team that even a legend like Tim Howard doesn't fully believe that there's a potential to get to raise this trophy.
Yeah. I mean, I in a tournament, you can never. I would never say never to any team. Like things happen. You never know. It's like with the level of player that the US has. I think like the disparity in terms of like the best players and the worst player is probably the closest it's ever been in the history of football. So I think that's one thing. And just my final 2 points on USA, and then we can kind of move on. Number one, the next game is against Turkey to round out the group, and that game does not matter because Turkey's bounced and the US has already won the group. So that makes the game literally a throwaway. And I thought looking ahead to that game, I thought that would have been a really interesting one because I actually think Turkey would probably have more possession, regardless of how bad they've been, just because of who the players that they have. It would have been an interesting matchup. And then on the back of that, I forgot what I wanted to say. I remember it was one big game that I think we're going to look back at and say, oh, this was really important. Gold Cup final last year. Do you remember what happened in that game?
We weren't in it.
Lost to Mexico in the final.
I thought we were in this. We lost to Paraguay in the semis. We did lose to Mexico.
Yeah, we lost to Mexico in the final. And the reason I think that's important is kind of 2 things. Number one, like the last taste in their mouth of a tournament game was losing a final and then losing it to Mexico, who's like a legitimate team. And now you come away with that. You're probably pretty hungry to outperform Mexico, who's your biggest rival in terms of international level. And now you've had experience of playing in that, like you have to win game and like not getting it done. And I think that's going to be really important. I don't know if psychologically anybody's thinking about that, but just like going back to that moment, that was massive. And it was a massive
I
loss for the USA who thought they should have won.
I really hope that we're not thinking about the Gold Cup final from last year. I
I think
really
so.
hope.
I think they are.
I think that would be I think that'd be the wrong mindset, but I do understand your point. I obviously our rivalry with Mexico has been long-standing, and it's definitely one of the nastier ones in the world. But I hope that we're not even remotely thinking about Mexico. I hope that the only team that we're thinking about is whoever we're facing on the pitch. That's the only way to go
Yeah,
about
that's
this in
true.
my mind.
That's fair.
But as we were saying, USA may or may not be a contender, but we do have a new power rankings 1 to 5, and I do think that all 5 of these teams have a very, very clear shot to the.
Yeah. This was a little bit jumbled up from the one that me and Motts talked about last week. Do we have this in order? Do we agree with this order? I think yeah.
I don't agree with this order. Want me to give you my order?
Let's just start with one because I know we both agree. Okay, so this is our new power ranking. We did top 5, and we'll figure out the order as we go. But number 1, I don't think anything has changed, and you clearly agree because this one you also agree with, right?
France.
France is in at number 1. Like they're 2-0. They've conceded 1 goal, scored 6,
and they haven't even hit their like they haven't hit the final gear.
Yeah, they're really good, and they haven't done anything to dethrone themselves, basically. But they definitely haven't been at their best, and they have not played their best teams. Like they've played Iraq and Senegal.
No, and
Not
I think
hardest.
they severely struggled against Senegal in that first half.
Yeah,
Me and Motts were in the stands, and it was pitiful. It was pitiful all around. I think the only player that played well that first half, and I'm biased, but was Michael Olise. He balled out.
I thought USMNT was good actually.
Ousmane Dembele was nowhere to be found. And the other thing about how they played, and I didn't get to see the full Iraq game today, but not that it really matters. They have zero presence in the middle of the pitch. Rabiot was prancing off into the sunset any chance he could get, and Chouameni was between the center backs. And so your two midfielders who are supposed to be able to plug the hole in there and stop transition were nowhere to be found. Again, like I said, Ousmane Dembele did not touch the ball really in the first half. You had some pretty good interchanging up top, but very little transitional ability. And so that was very concerning, and I need to see them fix that against Norway.
Yeah, I still think
that is a huge issue.
And then like Dembele goal and assist today, Olise 2 assists, Mbappé 2 goals. Like
it's a rock.
I know, but still, like their biggest strength is still in like the 70th minute. Like if Barcolah's starting, they can go to Doué. If Doué's starting, they can go to Barcola. And it's just like
and let's not forget Marcus Thuram
Ryan
barely
Cherokee,
played.
Like
yeah,
this team
it's insanity
nasty,
what they have up top.
Even at the back, like I forgot how good Upamecano is, especially on the ball. Like Upamecano Saliba is probably the best on the ball pairing in the tournament by a pretty astronomical margin.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, Koundé and Teo outside back pairing nasty as well.
They're just
and Mike Mignon, as long as he doesn't get hurt in the first 30 seconds, also strong.
I mean,
one of the stronger keepers.
Well, I mean, their next game to round out the group is Norway, and I think that'll
be very telling.
Yeah,
that's gonna be very telling.
It is. It isn't like. Do I expect Norway to win? Probably not. But if France don't put it to them, I don't know who France are. You know what I mean?
Here's where France is going to lose a game. They're going to get a team that's going to hit them in the mouth in the first 15 minutes, and they're going to be playing from the back foot the entire time. They have been now through 2 games allotted the opportunity to have a very slow start, a very slow first half, and let their longevity and their depth show through for them. But if they get a team that's going to come out, hit them in the jaw, straight out first 15 minutes, get a goal, that's what I want to. That's what I need to see France show up. And I'm not sure if they have that in their back pocket yet. But as of right now, in terms of a ceiling, France for sure top of the top by themselves. I would even say.
All right, cool. Kicking on number 2. Is this where you disagree?
I certainly disagree with this number 2.
And then is your number 3 the number 2?
The number 3 is my number 2. The number 4 is my number 3, and number 2 is 4. My top 5 is France, England, Netherlands, Argentina, Spain. Let me tell you why.
My top 5 is France, Argentina, Netherlands, England, Spain. So let's just go through them, and so that sets the scene. You know the teams. Let's just talk.
It's
about
the same. It's all the same 5 teams.
So let's not go. Let's just go to Argentina. Who was your number 2?
I had England at number 2.
Okay, let's talk about them next. I think they're interesting.
England is very interesting, but I think that they came out against a Croatia team that I think we also disagree on in terms of their talent level right now. And I thought they played immensely well. And I think that they showed their depth, even though I think Tuchel took a horrible team, made a couple of really bad decisions in terms of the roster, but they played really well. They came out, they took advantage of their opportunities. Harry Kane looked like Harry Kane, and I think that their back line played decently well. Again, this was almost a shootout, and those 2 goals from Croatia were pretty impressive and probably a little weak. but Pickford played well at the end there. And if England can keep this type of firepower, then I'm not sure that they need to worry about their back line. I think their midfield is incredibly strong as well, and Declan Rice and Anderson and Jude Bellingham. That's a really, really, really strong midfield. And so, from my perspective, England has it made for them right now.
Yeah, I thought they were good. I thought they were really good. They handled the moment well. I thought same with Croatia. Croatia's been in so many games like this where they can kind of take a punch and bounce back, and they did. They did multiple times. And I thought the fact that England didn't mishandle that moment was really mature from them, which I don't think I've really seen from an England team before. I think the other thing is Tuchel has gotten the Harry Kane thing. Oh my God, right? And that
Mm.
is the key to England's success 100%. What I don't love about the team is I'm really not convinced by Stones Konza. Like, even if you throw, I think Gay, he's better than both of them from like a pure defensive standpoint. But I do not love people running at that defense. That's me personally. And like Croatia didn't really have that many. They don't have a lot of guns up there. You know what I mean? Like Croatia beats you as a team. Couple guns up there, you're gonna concede goals, I think.
I think you're going to find it incredibly difficult to counter this England team, though, with
Yeah,
that
they have
midfield.
legs. They got legs in the midfield. That's true.
And I do think that Konza is not the starting center back. I do think Gahey's a much better player than him, and obviously you can't not play John Stones. The guy's got a million
Yeah,
games for
no, I
England.
agree. I agree. He's the guy. I
So
just don't. I don't think they're better than some of these other teams, tactically or player to player. To be honest,
well, and I think Tuchel's an idiot. So I can
I
agree
don't
with
think
that.
Tuchel's an idiot. I think Tuchel's a good tournament manager. I don't know. I don't know what's holding me back about this team because like
It's because they're England.
Harry
That's what's
Kane's
holding you
great.
back.
Jude is great. I love Declan Rice. I love Nordi Matwecki. I love Anthony Gordon. I love Bukayo Saka. I love
You
Marcus
do not
Rashford.
love Anthony Gordon.
I do. I really like him.
Nobody
I think
likes
he's
Anthony
good.
Gordon besides Barcelona right now.
I think the other
But
thing that I liked is how they played. Like they wanted to control the game, which I think is
and they
really
did,
important. Yeah, they
and they
did
did.
against Croatia. It was a hard team to do it against. Again, they've only played one game, and it was a very hard game. But now you go to Ghana and Panama, and it's like you have a different challenge. And like on paper, those should be wins, but that's not really how the World Cup works. So I'm really looking forward to like how do they handle this next game where they're supposed to get it done.
Yeah, I think really quick on the Ghana game, two things that are going against England. Number one, they do have Thomas Partey back. He was not allowed into Canada for their first game. He's now back in the lineup because they're playing in the U.S. But secondly, there is a witch doctor that has officially cursed Harry Kane in this game from
Saw
Ghana.
that.
That is a real story. I'm not even just making that up. There's a real story.
Stat.
There is a witch doctor. There is officially a curse on Harry Kane. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But I think more importantly, tell me about the other team here that you'd rather put over England, whether that be Argentina or Netherlands, or is it both?
No, I would do both for sure. But we'll go to Argentina first because their defending champs are now 2-0. Beat Austria today. Was that today? Yeah, they beat Austria today.
Beat Austria today.
And then first game they kind of brought it to Algeria. I think it was 3-0 or 4-0, something like that.
3-1. They score.
3-1.
No, 3-0. 3-0.
3-0.
Yep.
This game means more to me than the Algeria game. The Algeria game, Messi obviously hat tricks, took the headline, which I think is definitely important because Messi's the most important player on this team. He's the best player of all time. But I thought the Algeria goalkeeper was, oh my God, bad. And in this game, a little bit different. I thought Messi was really good. I thought Argentina was really good. And the reason that I have Argentina probably in at 2 over the rest of these guys is definitely Messi. Like Messi's a big game player, especially for Argentina. And then other 2 reasons I would say they just did it. So they kind of know what it takes to get there and win it. And then the last piece is how they play. If you look at what their kind of best team is, it's all workers and then Messi and Lautaro up top. And even Lautaro, I would call a worker. Like that is how they want to play. Like they're going to play rough. They're going to cover ground. They're not going to give up a lot of chances. And then they're just going to rely on Messi to get it done, which is what Messi has been doing for 20 years now. So I think that is a recipe to succeed. Like don't give up chances and give the ball to the best player of all time. Check the boxes that you need to win football matches. Like I honestly think that's it.
I have my reservations with Argentina because they're so focused on Messi. And I have nothing that shows me that Messi can't put himself in any game.
Yeah, exactly.
But the problem is that as soon as someone figures out that formula to make sure that
Two
Messi
people have
doesn't
been
touch
trying
the
to
ball,
figure that out for 20 years.
I get it, but they've won one time. So what happened the other times, This team is obviously a lot stronger, and the guys that are out there, similar to the USA story, have a lot more experience now. DePaul, McAllister in the midfield, Lautaro obviously playing at the highest level. And we haven't even seen Julian Alvarez play all that much now.
Yeah.
Romero is in there. Obviously, Emi Martinez is well
Yeah,
established.
but
So
I just think that midfield of Enzo, McAllister, Rodrigo de Paul is just like
I think Enzo is
industrious.
so overrated.
No, I think Enzo's good.
I
I
think
mean,
he had a great World Cup
at
last
the
time, but
very
I haven't seen
least,
anything from him since.
at the very least, he is a solid defensive player that doesn't really give the ball away. And like that
Sure.
wins you tournaments, I think. I think this is the type of team.
And you have Rodrigo de Paul, who's just a menace.
Yeah, and they basically took from what they did last time. It was more of like a 4-3-3. This is like actually like a 4-4-2, and they basically took Di Maria off the field and then put on more of like a workhorse in Almada is what they've done so far. And I like that. I think that's a recipe for beating teams worse than you. And then when you come against teams that are good, you're going to be in the game every single time just because of how you're going to be set up.
Yeah, it's worked. And I don't want to nitpick here, but I do want to say that in both games, Argentina should have a red card. They should have had a red card. The Messi tackle in the first half of the Algeria game was ridiculous. It was ridiculous that that wasn't even a yellow.
No, it should have been a yellow. I don't know if it should have been a red.
Entire cleat, every single stud that was on his cleat was in that guy's calf.
Yeah.
That was a red card from my opinion. Obviously, it's Messi. They're not going to call that. They can't. But that one didn't make a lot of sense. And they had another one. They had another one today. I think it was Lautaro. Same kind of deal.
I thought Austria should have gotten a red card for the tackle on Messi where he missed the PK.
I did not see that tackle, so potentially. But I do think that there's some bias with Argentina, which may or may not make them better than when I put them at. But in any case, I mean, we're picking at straws here, right? Because we're talking about the top 5 teams in the entire world. So I am not here to say Argentina's bad by any means. I just don't know that they're stronger than the next team that I do want to talk about in Netherlands.
Yeah,
and I am biased on. Do you want
to lead? You can lead with, or let me set the stage, and then I'll let you actually talk about it. So the Netherlands in their first game, I think they tied 2-2 against Japan. They had the lead 2 separate times in that game. Yep. And coming out of that game, I was concerned about the Netherlands because that game went exactly how they wanted it to go. And they had the ball a lot. They didn't, what I said on the last episode, I felt like they didn't problem solve well in having the ball, and like they couldn't really find a way to get through the low block. Then in game 2, they beat Sweden 5-1 and just blow the doors off of them, playing the exact same way and just got it done. And for me, I thought that it was the best performance of any team in the World Cup so far by a pretty large margin, because I don't think Sweden's bad, and they made them look amateur. It was that good, and Netherlands at their best is definitely top 5. I mean, and going back to the last World Cup, they went out to Argentina on penalties, and Argentina arguably should have had a red card, and who knows what would have happened then. So I don't think it should be a surprise that the Netherlands are this good, and they are a very scary team. I think they are really, really good, and I'll hand it over to you because I know you're Mr. Netherlands.
Listen, I mean, I've preached about the Netherlands for years and years and years and years and years, and I love them. And I think that they're always an interesting team, and I think that their roster is incredibly fun to watch. But this one seems different. This team, to me, feels dangerous.
Yeah, they are dangerous.
They have several different ways that they can beat you, which they've already showcased through 2 games, whether it's on a corner because they're gigantic, whether it's on the counter because they're super fast on the wings and they have a great point man, whether Daniel Malin's playing out there, whether they get Wout Weghorst in there, who knows? They still have Memphis Depay, who I think is a shithead, but he's still rather effective.
Somerville, player of the tournament so far.
Well, I was gonna say, even when they're set up deep on a low block, like against Japan, or even probably Sweden to a certain extent, you have Cody Gakpo or Somerville cutting in from the sides and
or
making
Malin,
or Malin. I mean, the list goes on and on, right? So like they have in so many different options. I also think that their midfield this time around, as compared to last World Cup, is completely different and way better.
On their day, this midfield is as good as any midfield. Like,
I mean, you have Frankie De Jong, who's been a
generational player that people do not give credit.
Understatedly top 10 midfielder every single year in and year out. You have Tijani Reinders, who had a tough year at Man City, but on his day and what we saw at AC Milan, a phenomenal box-to-box player.
Goal-scoring box-to-box midfielder.
Goal-scoring. And then Ryan Gravenberch, who was great at Ajax, didn't get a chance at Bayern, and has now really shown himself through on Liverpool, is a monster. The guy's like 6'5", and he's trotting through the midfield, right? Then you go to the back line. This back line is insane. You have Denzel Dumfries,
Real Madrid, Denzel Dumfries.
Real Madrid, Denzel Dumfries. Van Eck, who plays for Brighton, a very solid center back, who's playing next to Virgil van Dijk, one of the best center backs of all time. And then you have Mickey van de Ven, I'm a huge fan of Mickey van de Ven out of
Yeah.
Tottenham. So, I mean, the top to bottom, I don't see any holes
No, there are no
in this
holes.
lineup.
And I think the other
Right,
thing
and
is,
so
like, how they play is really effective. Like, it's a 4-3-3. Like, if you never watched soccer before, and I was like, watch, like, this is how you play a 4-3-3 at the very basic. Like, and do not throw any, like, bells and whistles on it. Watch
this
this.
is it.
That's exactly what they do. Frankie's deep. The 2 8s look like 8s. They're below the forwards. Like, it is nothing crazy. It's just getting the right players in the right part of the field to do what they do best.
And let's not forget, their manager in Koeman has been there, has done this for a very long time. A terrible stint at Barcelona, but a very experienced, not only manager, but player as well at the national team level. So I think that that's a big factor in my mind.
And I think that the way they play is secure. Like, they want to be ball heavy, and when they don't have the ball, they want to counterpress you. And then if you get through their counterpress, then you have to get through their defense, which is very hard to do, especially on the wings, because Denzel Dumfries is fit as fuck, fast as fuck. Mickey van de Ven, same exact thing. And then Virgil van Dijk, who is, I mean, I don't really need to say anything else. And that's not even talking about Frankie de Jong, who's also great defensively. So it's just like, they have all the pieces to get it done. They might. I kind of think they're number 3 for me.
Yeah, they're an incredibly strong team.
I think they are way better than England when I watch them play.
I didn't get a full look at the Sweden game, so I don't know if I'm as convicted.
And like, this is a perfect
$5-1.
transition to the next team, because the last team that we have is Spain, who would round out this power ranking. And for me, like, the reason I have Netherlands above them is because I think the Netherlands do very similar things, but they're doing it better, and I have more confidence in their defense to like just will them across the line.
We just said this about the Netherlands and how balanced and how they can kind of hit you at different angles. Spain is a one-trick pony. And I don't care what Oyarzabal did in this last game. I don't care what Oyarzabal did in this last game. Oyarzabal is a terrible 9. They were playing a dog shit team, and this team without Lamine Yamal is nothing.
Yeah, but they have Lamine Yamal.
Is nothing. Right, but this is not Argentina. This is not Lionel Messi.
I agree with that.
That's why they're 5. That's why they're 5. Because Lamine Yamal is a generational player. He's awesome, and when he's on, and he makes the rest of the team better.
I mean, Pedri's a generational player.
But I don't think Pedri's the difference maker that we thought that he used to be. He hasn't shown that in a long time.
I disagree. He's just not going to score as much. He does score. I don't know. I just think that for playing Spain or Spain.
Also, their defense isn't as strong.
And they've always been Spain, and they are going
and they will be Spain.
They do what they do. It's just a matter of if they get the goal, right? Like, and that's going to be it. I think, for me, like, what sets the Netherlands a little bit higher is, I think the defense is better. I think the midfield's better. And then Lamine Yamal is by far the best forward on any of these teams, but I think that the collective Netherlands unit is better than the collective Spain unit for me. And that's not to downplay Spain, because I love Spain. I think Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, Nico Williams is extremely good. And I mean, there's a reason that front 3 won a Euros. Like, it's really, really good.
I also would just like to say that I don't think Spain has played their best lineup yet.
No, they've been jambling.
They've been mixing and matching. I don't think that their best 11 has been on the pitch yet together. So that also remains to be seen. And again, I want to go back to the fact that we're talking about the top 5 teams in the world. We're not saying Spain is bad at by any means. It's just in comparison and on form right now, I think they're solidly in 5.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, Netherlands are good. They're really, really good.
They're really good. It makes me so happy. But Paisans, global fans, let us know what you think. Reach out to us. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. We are here for the entire summer at Calcio Culture FC, X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and on Spotify and Apple Pods. Calcio Culture FC. Make sure you tune in, week out. To continue here, we do have our surprises of the tournament.
In a good
way. In a good way. We've covered USA pretty extensively here, Vos, but I would say...
Are they a surprise? Do we even have to say they're a surprise?
I would say
this is about the level.
The play on the pitch has been elevated to a point that I didn't expect, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. But like,
so I'll give them a surprise for that.
They are the best team. Turkey. Yeah, they were the best team in the group, USA. Yeah.
Turkey's shit. But the next 2 teams here, I would definitely say I'm surprised about and how well they played, and more so the first one than the second. But Ivory Coast, man.
Yeah, Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast. What a surprise. What a pleasure to watch how they play. I had obviously had the good fortune to see Ivory Coast in person in Philadelphia, but I mean, Diamande in person, unbelievably fast. Willie Singo had an amazing game, both in the first game and the second stint there as a center back playing. He's out of Galatasaray. If you don't know, he used to play for our boys in Torino, I believe. And then you pointed this out, Vos, but the Kessié Fofana 2-man midfield is dominance
Yeah, it's
in all
really
its
good.
glory.
And I think with this team, number one, they should have beaten Germany yesterday. They lost 2-1, and they definitely should have won that game. Like they missed so many good chances, and they just play really exciting football, which I also like. And they have a
And
lot of guys that are
press.
really aggressive. Yep, they like to press, especially like you have like you said, Diamande, Amad Diallo, Ange Boni, who we watch a ton of at Inter Milan. And then I agree with you that midfield, their best midfield is Kessié and Fofana, and it is chase you down, hunt you, kill you midfield pairing, and I love it. The way they play is like really free. Like it's just like we're gonna try to score, and if we lose the ball, we're gonna go kill you and try to get it back that way. And it's basically like they get countered, and Fofana and Kessié just run you down and like run you over. And otherwise,
you like think that you're countering them.
Otherwise, you get a chance. Like if they don't catch you, you do get a chance. But
they haven't been caught out.
No,
they really haven't been caught out.
Conceding 2 goals to Germany is not that bad, right? Like that's not crazy. And the fact that they should have won this game kind of tells you. I don't know if it says more about Germany or more about them, but regardless, they are really fun to watch, and I think that they're good. Do I think they can win? No, I don't. I think that the way they play is a little bit too free.
A little bit.
And when you play like a Spain, you're going to get fucking railed, I think. But in those other games, I think they have a chance, and they're going to get chances just because of the way that they play, and they get people 1v1, and their 1v1 players are really good at beating you. And they counter extremely well, and I think they're going to be a really interesting team. They counter press. They're really fun to watch. So they are definitely a surprise for me. I was not expecting them to be this good or this entertaining.
And I would also say that their depth is a lot more than what people would say.
Sneaky depth.
I mean, think about who came off the bench for this Germany game? Seiko Fofana, who we just noted we think is their better of the midfield pairing over Sangare. Adingra, who plays at the top level. I don't remember where. I think he's probably in Ligue 1. We got Guela Due, who started at right back in the first game, came off the bench here. Nicolas Pepe, who has had a really good year in Ligue 1, came off the bench in the 84th minute here. And then Evan Gasson, who plays for Aston Villa, who's had a couple of good stints, but those are really solid players. And that's not even
including Ndika, who hasn't really played, who's probably their best defender, like straight up.
Yeah, and Eli Wahi is also a good striker. So the depth is also there. So I think look for them to be an upset favorite in a knockout round.
Yeah, 100%. Depending on who the matchup is, like
don't think they're going the distance.
They could surprise somebody.
I think this next team though could go decently far here. I'm talking semifinals deep.
I agree. Do you want me to talk?
And that's Norway. I mean, let's just go right. Let's just get right to the chase here. I mean, Norway, Erling fucking Haaland is on this team.
What I was saying about Norway right before we hopped on there is, for me, they could be like the new Croatia. I think that they have like a golden generation coming through. They kind of have those guys in the key areas where you need good players, right? Like Haaland is gonna be a problem in every game, and then Martin Odegaard behind him, just like you're gonna score. Like Norway is going to score. And then the rest of their team is like pretty industrious, which I really like. I don't even think in this game they played their best lineup, to be honest with you. But like some other guys here that you guys should know is like Sorloth, Nusa, Ryerson on Dortmund, Xander Berge. There's other guys that we talk about all the time, like Ostegard. We see in Serie A all the time. Oscar Bob plays for Manchester City. Morten Thorsby, another Serie A guy we watch all the time, who's actually really fucking good. Just nobody knows about him. And like you go through their team. Christian Thorsved on SAS with an insane season, like
who's a psychopath.
These are all of these players that we talk about. It's kind of like what I said with Argentina, right? Like nobody is insanely good, but they're hard to play against, and that gets you far in tournaments. And with Croatia, like it was kind of like Modric, Mandzukic, Perisic, and then like Rakitic cycled through. And then like the rest of the team was always like these other kind of guys that like would come through, and like none of them were amazing, but they were all really good at just like being hard to play against. And if you have like 4 good guys and then the rest of your team is just madmen, you can make it happen.
With really high floors.
Yeah, and this is a team that I legitimately think could get to the final. Like obviously it would be like the first time Croatia made the final, that was surprising. And now looking back, we're like, that team was nasty. And I could totally see that being Norway now going forward. And I don't think this is a one and done tournament for them. I think they're going to come back and probably be better in the Euros. And even in this one, this is a terrible team to play. Horrible team to play against.
I mean, anytime you have Haaland up top, you're gonna have a tough time. Plus, you have Odegaard pulling the strings. You have a very industrious midfield behind them, like with a bunch of the guys that we just
And
noted.
I
So I'm not
forgot
gonna
to
go back
mention
through it.
fucking Strand
Jans Peter
Larsen and
Haug.
Peter Haug. Yeah, like
Well, people forget Jans-Peter Haug single-handedly knocked out Inter out of the
yeah,
Champions League.
exactly. Like and that's like a joke, but not really. Like he's a
It's
good
not.
player. And
It's not.
like at this level, having like amazing players, yes, it's really important, but like time and time again in any tournament, international football thing, the best players of the tournament are not the best, but like some great players in the tournament are always guys that are like okay at club level or good at club level, and then
Well,
just like show up and play great for their national team.
we are an Italian podcast. Think about Spinazzola back in the 2020 Euro run before he tore his ACL. Like, never was like phenomenally that good.
Right.
I mean, he was good, but not not outstanding. He was disgusting for Italy in that run.
Chiesa was the same way. Like Chiesa
Right,
stepped it up.
certain guys show up in tournaments like this, and I think Norway is riddled
They're
with those
right
kind
that
of
like
guys.
like even going to like our top 5, right? Like apart from France, let's say, like this team is bad to play against. I I I, they're gonna compete in every game. They're gonna be really hard to knock out of the tournament. It's gonna be horrible.
I think the only team from a defensive standpoint that can really withstand this is probably the Netherlands because
Van
they're
Dijk, yeah.
gigantic and Haaland is and Virgil has played against Haaland a
Right.
million times.
And kind of does a good job with them.
Kind of does a good job. But on the flip side of that, last team that's surprising, maybe for you, I don't think it's not so much for me, but the team that we just equated Norway to, Croatia. Even after just one game and a 4-2 loss, is surprising in a good way, Bose.
Yeah, I thought they were really good. And coming into the tournament on our last episode, I was kind of saying I expect them to take a big step back. I think I was wrong. I don't know why. I don't even think they played great in that game against England. Like they lost 4-2. They didn't create a lot of chances, but I think it goes back to what I was saying when I did talk about England and why I was praising England. I thought Croatia in the same sense, right? Like they went down really early and it was kind of like, oh God, like this could be the end of Croatia kind of thing. Like this is it. Like England's gonna pummel them. You know what I mean? Like I think that was a legitimate concern. At least I had that. I don't know what you thought. And then they bounced back, tied the game, went down again, scored another goal, and it was just like this team can roll with the punches. And they've played in big games. They've played against really good teams, and no moment is gonna be too big for them. And they just manage games well. And I think as this tournament goes on, they're actually gonna get better. Like we saw in this game. Batsarina, this is his first time having a role for Croatia. He was great in that game. Peter Sucic, this is his first time having a role for Croatia. I thought he was good in that game. Stanisic plays for Bayern Munich. This is his first time in this team playing a big role. And like, all right, give these guys a couple games and let's see what they can do. Luka Modric is still going to be Luka Modric. And I don't know, are they as good as they were 4 years ago? I would say no. Are they as good as they were
no.
2 years ago? I'd probably also say no. But these new guys can step up, and I just wouldn't count them out. Like they're really ready to play anybody. Like
my problem, and I don't think that I'm surprised by Croatia. I'll come out and say that. But the problem with Croatia is that you have half of the roster that's a walking retirement home, and then you have half the roster who just came out of the nursery. They don't have, aside from Gavardiol, they don't have a lot of guys in their prime.
yeah, that's
Right.
true.
They have a lot of guys that are probably on the verge of their prime, but they have a lot of guys that are fully past their prime.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out how to bridge that gap, which I don't think is an easy task, but they will certainly be a problematic team for a lot of the competition.
Yeah, and I think what echoes that is, like, especially in this game, who you go to on the bench. Mateo Kovacic, Kramaric, Vlasic. It's like, those are tail end career guys, you know? Which is rough.
They might be past the tail end.
Yeah. So that's the thing that's holding that back. But at the end of the day, like, their best 11 is going to fucking fight you. You're not going to roll them. And England won 4-2, but I don't think they rolled them per se.
Well, and what I will say is that, and I know that you're not a big goalie guy.
I'm not a big goalie
But this
guy.
tournament has shown that I think goalies are really important. I think the Serie A season showed that as well. If you look at the stats from this game, Livakovic is rearing his ugly fucking head again. They had 12 shots on target. Granted, they scored 4 goals, but Livakovic was getting peppered.
Yeah, he got
Peppered. This could have been 6-2.
Yeah. No,
you know, 7-2. So they do have experience back there. I think this Croatia team in 4 years' time will.
Well, that's
will
a
be,
big statement.
will be back. I think that they've got a lot of guys that'll get the experience that they need in that same time period. Again, Luka Modric is a once in a two lifetimes player, but they do have a lot of guys like you named that are on the come up, and they're sure to get more.
Yeah,
So we'll
I
see.
guess that's true. We'll see.
We'll see. I think
Biggest surprises in a not good way,
in a bad way.
AKA disappointments. And the biggest disappointment I think is very obvious. They lost us all a bunch of money. Turkey.
Your fault.
Yeah, definitely
Fully
my
your
fault. I rallied the troops around Turkey and I shouldn't have. Turkey's out and they lost twice. They lost to Australia and they lost to 10-man Paraguay in one of the worst performances I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, you're a bum for calling that one out, but Turkey's way bigger of bums for the performances that they put on it. I mean, Turkey's not a bad team.
It cannot be overstated how bad of a performance this was. It was so bad. Like, it was so bad. They had the ball.
You watched the game. What really went wrong?
Because they had the ball.
Let's take a step back for a second.
It was just so bad.
Just for a second. And talk about the players on the pitch who certainly are very skillful. You have, let's start from the top. Artuoglu, who went to Benfica, back to Galatasaray.
I thought he was still on Benfica. Maybe. He might
very
be on
good nine. You have Arda Güler, who's a dynamo from Real Madrid. You have Kenan Yildiz, who's the starlet of Serie A. You have Hakan Çalhanoğlu, the biggest rat of all time, but a solid 10. And you have Kadioglu, who's also a really good left back. So, that's 5 players that should get you through games like this.
Demiral's like a legitimate player, although he looked like
Demiral's
a kid.
A bum.
He looked like a kid out there. And then I literally have never known how to say this guy's name, but he's been on Galatasaray for fucking ever. Bardaki, I think he's the captain as well. Oh no, Hakan's the captain, right? Yeah. And then off the bench, you have Yilmaz, who was great for Galatasaray all year in the Champions League. And then you have a couple guys like Orkun Koksu, sorry, botched that one. And then you have a couple guys from the Bundesliga that are like good players. And they had 79% possession in this game, had the ball around Paraguay's box the whole time, and basically were just taking shots from 30 yards out and not putting them on target. And that was the entire game plan. That was it. This is a disgusting stat line. It was 33
terrible. Shots and 6 of them are on target.
They finished the tournament with I think it was 58 shots in 2 games and no goals. Like that tells you, and this is what I was just saying about it, players are good, yes, but you need a fucking plan. Like at this level, people know how to defend, and you need a plan to go and win games. And Turkey didn't have that, and I probably should have seen this coming because they didn't have it 2 years ago, and they didn't have it 4 years ago, and they've never fucking had it. Like this is always what this team does. No plan, underperform every single fucking time, and I let it happen again. So yeah, this is completely your fault. It's 100% my fault.
But yeah, Turkey out, and I think the other team that's pretty disappointing in my mind is Uruguay.
Yeah, Uruguay
with two draws through 2 games, really solid lineup and anchored especially by.
It's not that good. They suck.
Solid lineup anchored by Fede Valverde, who has been a complete disappointment in my mind. Has not shown any fight, any drive here as the captain, as the core of this team. I mean, they just look dead, and the way that they played against Cabo Verde was disgusting.
Yeah, I mean,
repulsive.
Yeah, I think what happened here really was we were used to Uruguay being good with 3 good players. You know what I mean? Like it was Suarez, Cavani, Godin, and then throw some guys in there every couple of years, right? That switched it up. And for some reason, we just assumed that would still be the case because they have Valverde, Ugarte, and then I don't know, take your pick of Darwin, Jose Maria Jimenez, who's kind of on the backside of his career. Obviously, Araujo's hurt, but
Bentancur.
We just assumed that they would level up again, and that's wrong because Luis Suarez and Edinson Cavani are 2 of the best players to ever play for Uruguay and kind of showed this team to drag this team through competition.
That's fair. Yeah. I think I saw a stat that Uruguay has never won a game where Suarez was not in the starting lineup.
Well, that cannot be true because they've won multiple World Cups
since Suarez has been playing.
Okay. That sounds well real. But yeah, I think that's
something along those lines.
That's the story of them, really. We just assumed they were.
We'll see. Good. They're not dead.
We assume they'd be good because of the name. With some teams, I think that actually happens, but with them, we're wrong. They're just not that good. Period. They don't have a lot of good soccer players, and we were wrong.
Just Fede.
But
we were wrong.
Yeah.
His head is still stuck in the Real Madrid locker room trying to fight Tchouaméni.
True. Good point.
That's that. I think this next session is actually the most interesting that we've talked about so far because this section is teams that are good, but floor could certainly fall out. And it's a group of teams that are perennially or tournament in, tournament out, going to be in the conversation for the title and just have not shown it yet.
Yeah.
And I think it's best that we just go through. We just say all 4 teams and we kind of pick them apart a little bit here. But teams in this category, we have Brazil, we have Germany, Portugal, and Colombia.
I feel like Colombia
I would almost say that Colombia is probably the best off of all these teams.
No, I don't know about that, but I feel like Colombia belongs in a different category for sure. But yeah, starting with Brazil. So they've played twice now. They tied Morocco in a game where Morocco kind of dominated. Dominate might be a harsh word. They were better than Brazil, I would say. And then they beat Haiti 3-0. And I didn't think they were great in that game either, to be honest with you. In this team, I just don't. It looks good right now on paper, right? But
on paper, they're the best team.
No, they're not.
Besides France.
What?
They're the most complete team on paper besides France.
Yeah, no, I disagree. But
because I think that they're the only team that purely got taken by just going, okay, who are our best players?
Well, that's not true. Because Danilo is starting games.
Well, Danilo is
listen. So here's my problem with Brazil. Like Rafinha got hurt, although it may have been a fake injury because he missed a bunch of good chances, and like I haven't seen the reports on what actually happened there.
No, he's going through some mental instability because he's bankrupt,
and that's why he faked an injury.
That's why he's not playing. Yeah.
Well, he played and got hurt. So is he done playing?
He might be going home.
All right, so now they're fucked. Yeah, no, like I don't know what to talk about with Brazil. Like, he's like their second most important player. Yeah, like Matheus Cunha, I think is good. I'm not sure he's like a number 9 that's going to win the World Cup with Brazil. And Vinny plays by himself more than Neymar ever did, in my opinion. And I don't think he is nearly as good as Neymar was for Brazil in his prime. Like, I don't think it's close. In the way that this team wants to play is basically like Vinny's going to get us across the line. In my mind, I could be wrong about that. That's kind of like the feel I get for them. And then the other part of this is I do not like how much they rely on Lucas Paqueta as well, because game to game, you do not know what you're going to get with him. Like, sometimes he's like Kaká, and then other times he's like Oscar, but after he went to China, and it's just like irrelevant kind of thing. So I don't love that is like a core part of the team. Again, they haven't really played anybody that's crazy good, but like even Morocco brought it to them, and like the Casemiro, Bruno Guimaraes one, like I don't love that either. I think they're very similar players, and
none of this team is complementary to each other.
Yes, 100%. I agree with you there.
Any lineup that you put out there is just a hodgepodge of players, and even not formulaically, none of it makes sense. The midfield 3 of Casemiro, Guimaraes, and Lucas Paqueta, there's no rhyme or reason, and none of those guys are gonna play exactly the same as you would think. Like you just said for Paqueta, I would say that for all 3 of them, right? So you have 3 players in the midfield that are.
Casemiro will play one way, but he's just on the end of his career.
He's gonna play one way, but he's not gonna do what you
like. Ederson should.
You can't give him tactics. Casemiro's just gonna do Casemiro.
100% should be starting in this game or in this team. Like that makes no sense to me.
100%. They do need an Ederson type player to kind of corral that midfield.
Yeah,
literally corral.
Like I would drop Casemiro probably and go Ederson, or I would probably
go Diamond.
I would get rid of Paqueta and just go 3 like defense first guys: Bruno, Casemiro, Ederson, and like
I mean it would be a great diamond with Ederson at the bottom. You have Guimaraes and Casemiro, and then Paqueta at the 10 with Vinny and Cunha's wide
I agree. I think that'd be great. Maybe they do that with Freeman. And then like in the back line, like Danilo. Like, what the fuck? He cannot be playing. And then
Wesley got hurt, right?
Yeah, Wesley's out, but like still, like I would have tried.
I think they should be going back 3 with Bremer.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. 100%. So like I don't know. This seems like very not Ancelotti in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like Ancelotti's very much like, let's get my best players in there in their best possible position. In like, I don't know.
It doesn't seem like he's put a lot of thought to this one.
Like the core of this team, I don't love, and even like I love Marquinhos.
He's a bag.
Yeah, no, I agree. He didn't play a lot for PSG this year, and I don't know. I don't know. Against a good team, I think this team gets rolled. Is basically my problem. But they could be really good. That's the thing. Like I don't know.
On their day, really, really dangerous. On most days, a hodgepodge of bullshit. So I'm not hot on Brazil right now. We'll see. We'll see what they put out in their next game. I think it's gonna be a time will tell on that one. Germany is an interesting one because Germany makes a lot of sense on the pitch,
Eh.
and their players are good, and they showed up against a team that they should have demolished, and they did. But then they kinda come out in a second game against Ivory Coast and struggle. They have good fortitude to come back.
They should have
But
lost. They should have lost that game.
I think they have a low ceiling. I think this team has a very low ceiling.
100% I agree with you. I do not really like this team, and I also don't really like how they play, and I don't like most of their players. So that kinda says it all,
Well, I think
right?
the problem is that you've never liked Kai Havertz, which it is what it is. Leroy Sané
I
is
think the problem with Kai
useless.
Havertz is
They should play
you
Voltemade there.
can't play Musiala, Havertz, and Verts. They all want to occupy the exact same space, and they all kind of want to do the same thing. Like that doesn't make any sense. Leroy Sané is not that good. I'm
No.
sorry, like I don't like to say that about people, but like
What?
he
When have
picks
you
up
ever been afraid to
he-
shit on somebody?
he picks up the ball and dribbles into really bad situations and then loses the ball, and he does it all the fucking time. And he sucks at finishing. So I do not know what justifies putting him into the team when you're also not trying to be a counterattacking team. So like get him off the fucking field. I do not understand it. I hate it. And just like overall, I think the level of this team is lower than it's been in the past. And
Certainly.
like Jonathan Tah, I'm not convinced by. Rudiger, I think, is a wild card, and sometimes will give you a great game, sometimes will give you a bad game. Nico Schlotterbeck is in the exact same boat for me. Well, he will put
He just tore his knee up.
He will. Oh, he got like hurt. I didn't see that.
He's out.
Okay, I
He's
didn't realize
out.
he was out. I saw he got hurt. Okay, so I mean they're fucked. Yeah, I don't feel good about this team. I don't.
No,
If
If this Germany team, if the World Cup happened in 2 years, this Germany team is nasty. Nasty.
maybe
Right now,
No,
they're like
I'm not sure about
they're
that
too
either.
transitionary. No, I'm saying it now. Next Euro is Germany favorite.
I just
Calling it now.
don't think they mesh. Is really the issue. Like nobody, like to your point about one of the other teams you talked about, I don't think there's a lot of compliments on the field here.
I disagree. I think if you look at the midfield, Musiala at the 10, Demetra as an 8, and Pavlovic as a 6, like that's a great midfield. You're gonna run into problems with Kai Havertz as a 9. It's been
And
proven a million
yeah.
times
But
over
like
that Kai Havertz.
I could be way off here. I am not a Verts guy. I'm just not. I don't really.
He was so good on
I know,
Leverkusen
but, like,
and so bad on
for
Liverpool.
me, like I kind of rate players in one like really particular way. It's like, what are you really good at? I don't think Verts is really good at anything.
He was a phenomenal wide 10 at Leverkusen and a horrible player on Liverpool. That's all I can tell you.
So like that's why I'm like kind of like on this team. Demetra's fucking nasty. I don't remember.
Dude, I was
watch-
talking about
He
Demetra
is-
last summer.
He's nasty. That I agree with. I just don't think this team has the tools to go and win this competition this year.
No, I don't think they're going to
And
win.
they
I don't
could.
think they're going to win,
strike
but they're
me-
Germany.
They strike me as a team that goes and gets upset early. Like they get a favorable draw and they get upset.
And they look one game past. I could see that. It's
Yeah.
happened to them in the past. I could
Yeah,
see that.
That's kind of what I see happening. I see them getting rolled. If they encounter one of our top 5 guys, I think they get rolled. And that might be
Yeah.
a gross overreaction, but that's what I've seen on the field.
I think they have a low floor but a low ceiling. That's or a high floor, low ceiling. Is
Yeah, their
kind
high
of where
floor is
I'm-
getting
where
out
I'm-
of the group.
No, they are going to win this.
Yeah, that's their floor.
That's not getting out of the group. They won the group already.
Yeah,
So,
that doesn't matter to
That
me.
is their floor. I want to talk about this next team.
Yeah,
I want to talk about Portugal because I like Portugal, but they looked like shit.
they looked
So I don't know what to do with that.
You know what it was, honestly, which I also, like an idiot, did not think about? Roberto Martinez is a terrible international manager. That's really, really the issue. And he wasted Belgium by overthinking things. And now he's doing the same thing to this Portugal team that I thought was going to be great.
Well,
I'm serious.
my 2 biggest issues were, number 1, Bernardo Silva, right wing. Not a huge fan of that.
Okay, so here's what happened, because this happened a long
then-
time ago, so we need to talk about it. But really quickly, and here we go. This is why Roberto Martinez sucks, actually, when I talk about this. So what this looked like on paper was a 4-2-3-1. In possession, what happened was Bruno Fernandes was the left wing, Bernardo Silva was the right wing, really tight to Ronaldo. So like all 3 of them were within like 30 feet of each other, I would say, right? Then the right wing, we'll call it right wing, held the width was João Cancelo on the right, held the width on the left was Pedro Neto, and then João Neves and Vitinha basically joined the back line to like quote unquote facilitate play. But then the other issue is you're facilitating play with a back 3 and then no midfielders to link up with, is essentially what happened. So you had 5 people in the back line and then 6 people in the front line, or 5 people in the front line.
You also crowded the one area where the best left back in the world usually
Correct.
operates, and
Exactly.
you made Nuno Mendes do nothing the whole
Yes,
game.
exactly. I 100% agree, and this is exactly what I'm saying. Like, I totally forgot that Roberto Martinez is a terrible international manager, and I don't know why I forgot that. It was really a bad decision out of me to forget about that. That being said, it was so clear that what wasn't working, and that they were beyond Roberto Martinez also. There was zero effort from any Portuguese player in this entire game. Like, there was no
Which is
movement.
That's a classic Portuguese.
There was no off the ball movement. Like, they had the ball in wide areas, did not cross the ball to Cristiano Ronaldo, who's basically the best finisher of all time. Like,
the best aerial
everybody
finisher
after
of
this
all
game,
time.
the story I saw everywhere was like, oh, it's Ronaldo's fault. This is not fucking Ronaldo's fault
Oh my
whatsoever.
God, no.
You just crowded all of his space, and they're like, well, he's not coming deep to get on the ball. He's not like running behind. Like, he had no space to even try to do anything because Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes were just like hanging out by a fire the whole game, like just standing on top of each other. It was so
The only time
ridiculous.
that Bruno Fernandes looked good was the last 10 minutes. Vitinha was basically useless. I'd love to say this, but Rafael Leao came on and fucking blew it. He was terrible. He gave up the ball every single time that he picked it up. And I think where I have hope with this Portugal team is this was not their best lineup either. And I think that look at the center backs.
I mean,
why how is Ruben Dias on the bench here?
Yeah, that's true. So I mean,
and I think Ruben Neves probably should come in here at some point.
For fucking who?
I think you take off Bernardo Silva, move Bruno Fernandes out wide, and put Ruben Neves in the middle.
No, I hate that. João Neves and Vitinha are the guys that are going to be back there making it happen.
I agree, but I'm saying as a transitionary player, let Neves come in because he's not going to crowd Ronaldo's space in that way.
Yeah, but plus, that's Roberto Martinez. Who's telling them to do that?
Well, fuck Roberto Martinez.
Yeah,
this is the fucking thing I have. This is me. This is me like Allegri. I know better. Put me at the helm.
There's going to be fucking Portugal jerseys that say like, I don't know.
Also, like figure out the left side, because if you're gonna have Nuno Mendes just play left back and that's it, like just do not.
Yeah, I mean, what I would realistically do here is pull Pedro Neto off the field, probably move Bernardo Silva to that side, or Bruno to that side, whatever you want to do. Go box midfield, Neves, Vitinha, Bernardo. Nuno Mendes provides your width. You bench João Cancelo, go to like a back three in possession, and then I would bring on a tricky winger and call it a day.
Not Francisco Conceição.
I would probably start Conceição. I
hated that.
I like what he brings.
I think he's bad.
Yeah, I mean, he created all the good chances, though, I will say. So that's Portugal. They've only played one game, so maybe all this gets solved, but probably not because Roberto Martinez sucked.
Moral of the story.
And I forgot. I can't believe I forgot that. Such an oversight by me.
First it was Turkey, now it's Roberto Martinez. You're not on your A game, though.
No.
Last team here, I think really quickly, but it's in the wrong grouping here, is Colombia. They did beat Uzbekistan 3-1. I have no qualms here. I don't know why. I just don't know what they're made of. They have Luis Diaz and they still have James Rodriguez.
I think Luis Suarez is really good. I think Jonathan Lerma's good. I think that
Richard
Rios is really good. And then I think Lukumi and Davinson Sanchez is also a really good pairing. So that is
on their day.
That's a formula for success, like in terms of having a couple guys that are going to score, industrial midfield kind of thing. Like that's kind of like the theme I keep going back to.
I think at their best, they're a dark horse to the semis, but I don't see it happening.
Right.
I would put Norway above them.
Yeah, 100%. Sure. I think Norway's really good. I don't know how good Colombia is, and they're really reliant on Luis Diaz, I think.
Certainly.
But they're good.
100%.
They are. I overlooked them. And I think, do they have Portugal next? No, they have Congo, and then they wrap up with Portugal.
Wrap up with Portugal next Saturday.
So I think after those two games, we'll have a really good idea of who they are.
Very solid team, and I think next Saturday is probably the game of the group stage in Portugal-Colombia, in my opinion. That's be a really sick game.
I mean, I think Brazil, Scotland is a really big game.
It's not bigger than Portugal, fucking Colombia, dude.
France, Norway is a big game.
France, Norway, but they're both through. That's the difference.
Yeah, I guess.
But that rounds it out. I think that really quickly, guys, we do just want to touch on that these are three teams that we like, that are fun.
Yeah, it's important. Like these guys, the thing with, I would put one of these teams maybe a little bit different because this is kind of their first time doing shit. But these are teams that are good, that we kind of knew were good, but we don't know how good. But they're not bad. It's how I would describe
one might be bad. One team might be bad, but they have a great fan base. So we like them.
So these teams, and I think Motts and I alluded to a couple of these teams last time, but Morocco are good. Like they're good. They tied Brazil and they beat Scotland, and they're probably going to beat Haiti. And like
you think
they're just good. Period. I don't know how good, but If they're in the semifinal again, I wouldn't be surprised. Japan is also good. They do not concede goals. That's like the name of the game for them.
Japan is awesome.
They have 1 win, 1 draw. The draw was against Netherlands, who we just said was a top 5 team. So who can they not play with or compete with? I don't know, but they were good last time. And then the last one, who kind of I think are really good, like in terms of just their lineup, player to player, is Scotland. They have a bunch of good, experienced veterans that play at a very high level.
And I think Scotland, no party.
And I think they're a little bit unfortunate in terms of being in a really hard group with Brazil and Morocco, but
if this team is in the group with Belgium and Egypt, I think they take second easily, if not first.
I just like this team. Like it kind of goes back to what I've been talking about. Like you need a couple really good players and it gets you really far. And they have Shea Adams, Scott McTominay, Lewis Ferguson, John McGinn, Andy Robertson, and Kieran Tierney. Like, that's
what
good.
I will say is this: it's the classic. They don't have a plan.
Yeah, a little bit.
And Scott McTominay was invisible against Morocco.
Yeah. That is true.
So it's definitely
I think they're probably worse.
They ride or die by their star players, and
they maybe don't belong in this group. But like we watch so many of these guys in Serie A all the time.
People forget Billy Gilmore tore his knee up before the tournament started. They don't.
And
have
they could have really fucking used Billy Gilmore too.
They could have really fucking used Billy Gilmore.
Yeah,
but they've got John McGinn, Super John McGinn.
Yeah,
I love John McGinn. And the Scotland fans are awesome. Shout out Scotland fans. Shout out Morocco fans. I was at the game at Gillette on Friday. They were phenomenal from an environment standpoint. What I will say, going back to Morocco, Vos, I know you're hot on them. They don't really know how to score. They're not going to put up 3 goals in a game. They're gonna score 1. They've scored 1 in each game here. I would love to see them score more against Haiti, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure because their best players are their right back, their goalie, their left back, and then it's a toss up between
this new guy up top that's now on Bayern is fucking good.
Sabari.
Yeah, he's actually good.
Great finisher. I'll say that.
I don't know, dude. I think you are overlooking the level this team can play.
We'll see. Let's see him put up 5 on Haiti.
I mean that'd be cool. That'd be better than Brazil.
That would be sweet.
Who are not good.
That would be better than Brazil. Paisans, global fans everywhere. Thank you for tuning in to World Cup Culture, aka Calcio Culture's World Cup coverage for the 2026 USA, Canada, Mexico World Cup. It's been an absolute pleasure. I have been your host, Logs, my co-host, Vos, and we've had a great fucking time today. This has been an absolute pleasure. You know what to do if you've been listening to our Serie A coverage. If you have not, here is the deal. Follow, like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend, to interact on every social platform at Calcio Culture FC. That's X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and listen to us on all your favorite streaming sites. That's going to be Apple Pods and Spotify. Very, very quick announcement. Calcio Culture has almost solidified our first sponsorship. Our first sponsorship is coming down the pike. It'll be very interesting to see how that turns out, but we appreciate the partnership from all of our sponsors, and we can't wait to show them to you in the coming weeks. So with that being said, Vos, take us away.
Paisans, do not be a gagoots in Forza Calcio Culture.